All right, so, man, we are back, and week 15 is here. It is Sunday, August 13th, and the first competition is now 6 days away. And so, this is it, man. The final week has arrived. And so, I have a lot that I want to cover today. I have a ton of stuff that I want to talk about. In fact, I've even got my notebook here with all the different things that I want to cover in this video. And so, if you guys have been following me, man, at all, you know, I'll get me on a tangent or two, and then who knows where I'll end up. So I want to try to move efficiently through this video because I am hungry. Not only do I want to stay on track for you guys, but man, I am starving right now, and I have a massive lunch on deck, and it's waiting for me inside. Throw the chicken on the grill, get the onions, get the oatmeal, get the peanut butter, get the blueberries, get the barbecue sauce, get all this stuff, man. So let's get right into it. So as I always do, we're going to recap, we're going to look forward, and then I'm going to give you guys a tip. And I got a really cool tip for you guys that has to do with helping to minimize or mitigate or really control the damage of your cheat days or your treat days or your cheat meals, whatever you want to call them, that I'd be willing to bet that many of you guys don't really realize. So I think this will be really cool. But let's get right into it. So recap last week. Unbelievable, man. Can't believe it. I fell to 168.6 on Saturday morning. Man, I got to be real with you guys. I am so happy. I am really, really proud of myself. Because if you go back to the very first video, you'll see. Go back to week number 1, man, when I was 188. And I said, hey, if everything goes as planned, I think I should hit 168. I should hit 167, 168, somewhere in that region. And that's where I'm at. And so I've never been this light, never in my life, not as an adult. You know, I was 179 and some change for a couple of weeks for one of the shows that I did back when I was 22. Now I'm 36. I'd like to think I have a lot more muscle, and I've lost, 12 pounds below that, and obviously carrying a lot less body fat, I would like to think. And so, man, it's amazing. It's amazing for me to think that I actually did what I wanted to do, that I actually did what I wanted to do all along, that I got where I wanted to go. And it's honestly a really, really cool feeling. And so no matter what happens on Saturday, I think I got a shot to do some damage, and I'll kind of get into that here in the next couple of minutes. But no matter what happens this Saturday, next Saturday, I mean, I did what I wanted to do, man. I can't be upset. I really gave it everything I had. I really dialed up the intensity these last couple of weeks. And as a result, here I am sitting at 168. So pretty happy about that. As far as my numbers last week, like I said, my weekly numbers don't really mean much anymore because that's not really what, if you go back, watch last week's video or the video before that, where I kind of talked about this, the weekly averages don't really matter because I'm really just paying attention to how my body responds to these deplete and then load cycles in preparation for this week that I'm going to get into here in a minute. And interestingly enough, my carbs actually this week averaged about 100, I think. I actually don't know the number offhand. I don't have access to it. It's on my work computer, and so I probably won't even post it on the video. But I'm pretty sure they were around 100, which is like 20 carbs higher than last week. And so here's the situation where I actually, by eating more food, even though my low days were super low, my deplete days were super duper low, by actually eating more, I ended up losing weight. I ended up continuing to lose weight. That is a separate video in and of itself. That is not that surprising based on what I've learned about how your body, about how your body reacts and how your body handles, nutrients and numbers and carbs and just all these different things. All right, so that's pretty much the recap from last week. I want to spend most of this video on what's coming up this week because this week is so different. With a bodybuilding show, it's very interesting because like when you're training, right? Like when you're trying to lose fat, when you're trying to get healthier, when you're trying to be fitter, you just want to look good all the time. You just want to put yourself in a situation where you look good every single day. And I mean, I'm kind of doing that too. But with bodybuilding shows, I want to look my very, very best on Saturday. I want to position myself so that I look the best I can possibly look on stage on Saturday afternoon at about noon. So the timing of different things becomes very, very important. And so this is where I'm really going to be able to draw on all of my experience, all of my education. I think I'm going to be able to put myself in a really good position to do that, to come in on Saturday looking really hard, really crisp, really well conditioned for, as best as I can do at 168 or whatever. Make no mistake about it, I've still got some fat that I could lose. I've still got some areas that I could definitely improve. But all things considered, I think that I think I'm in a pretty good spot. Like I said, I think I might be able to do some damage. And so we'll see. So, all right. So, let me consult my list. Normally, when I do these weekly videos, I'm kind of overly jazzed up today. So, you have to excuse me if I'm just kind of shouting at you guys. But normally, when I do these videos, I just turn them on and I just go. I kind of have a loose outline in my head, but we just press play and just kind of see what happens. But this time, I wanted to be a little bit more efficient. So, the first thing I want to talk about is my training for this upcoming week. So my training is going to be different. My weight training, my cardio training is going to be very different from it's been in the past. Because again, I'm trying to get ready for Saturday. My weight training, I want to be recovered by Saturday. I want to be healed by Saturday. I don't want to be sore. I don't want to be tired. I don't want to be fatigued. And so no more power days. My power days are over. I normally do power training on Monday and Tuesday, and then hypertrophy training on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But this week, I'm just moving everything up, and I'm doing hypertrophy training Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm taking Thursday off. I'm just going to go into the gym. I'm going to do a little bit of posing and kind of polish things up. And then on Friday, I'm going to do a pretty light circuit in the morning to kind of get my body ready for all the carbohydrates that I'm going to be fueling it with on Friday. And I'll get into that a little bit later with my nutrition, and it's actually a segue into the tip that I have for you guys. My cardio training, I'm going to taper down my cardio across the week because, again, I want my body to heal. Specifically, I want my legs to heal. And that's why I'm training legs first on Monday from a weight training standpoint, and my cardio is going to taper. I did intervals yesterday. No more car pushes. My last car push session was last week, which was kind of awesome. Did bike intervals yesterday. I just did bike intervals about 45 minutes ago. I'll do my last interval session on Tuesday. Instead of doing 12, 12, 12, I'm doing 12, 12, 8. And the actual resistance on the intervals is less. Steady state cardio, my walks, I'm still doing an hour. I did an hour yesterday. I'm doing an hour today. I'll probably do an hour on Monday, and then 45 minutes on Tuesday and 30 minutes on Wednesday, and then I will be done. I will be all set. I will be finished with my cardio by Wednesday to give my legs a chance to heal Thursday and Friday. So that's pretty much the training aspect of what I'm doing for the next week. From a nutritional standpoint, so this is where things start to get really, really interesting because my body has become very, very efficient at loading up and then depleting. Loading up and then depleting. And man, I'm tracking everything now. Like, I'm monitoring sodium. I'm actually monitoring my water intake. I actually keep a tally of how much water I drink. I used to be a walk around with a gallon type guy. I'm not really that guy anymore. And by not really, I mean I'm not that guy anymore. I haven't done that in years. But I just keep track about how many 16-ounce glasses, how many 20-ounce bottles do I keep or do I ingest in a given day to give myself an idea of how much water I'm taking in. And I've actually started to push my water higher these last couple of days. And I actually don't know the total amount. I have it in my phone, but I haven't taken the time to add it up. I will do that in the next couple of days. But I just have like literally tally marks next to how many 16-ounce glasses, how many 20-ounce glasses, and whatever. I think I'm a little over 2 gallons a day, I would say. And about a week ago, I was probably averaging about 1.5 gallons. And I've noticed that by pushing my water slightly higher, and I actually knew this based on the things I've learned, based on my experience, by pushing my water higher, what's happening every day is my body's becoming more efficient at cycling out water, at moving through the sodium that I'm feeding it. And so I'm pushing my water higher. I'm slowly tinkering with loading my sodium up at certain times. And as a result, my body is coming in progressively drier and drier and crisper, which is exactly what I want to do on Saturday. So that's kind of interesting in and of itself. But specifically what I'm doing for nutrition, for how I'm kind of setting this week up, Saturday and Sunday, so yesterday and today, were kind of medium days. Yesterday I was at like 150 carbs. Today I'm going to be at about 110, 115. For the end of the week, so before I tell you about Monday and the load, let me tell you about kind of the end of the week. So I'm going to do a super high day tomorrow. Well, let me just go ahead and do it now. It doesn't really matter that much. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to push the envelope on about 300 carbs. And then I'm going to deplete Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then on Friday, I'm probably going to do a pretty modest load of somewhere around 200 to 250, depending on what happens tomorrow and how my body looks and responds on Tuesday and Wednesday. Because my goal is this, and you guys will be able to relate to this. When you eat a lot of food, when you eat a lot of carbs, right? Sometimes you tend to feel bloated. Sometimes you tend to, the word that's typically used in the bodybuilding community is spilled over. I don't want to be spilled over. Because on Saturday, if I spill, where I look kind of soft and I look kind of watery, and it just looks like you're holding on to a lot of food, right? That's not hard, that's not crisp, that's not lean, that's not conditioned, that's the antonym to all that. So what I want to do is I would rather be flat, which means my body needs more carbs, and really tight, as opposed to maybe fully filled out, but kind of spilled over. You can fix either situation, and drawing on my experience and my education, I think I'll be able to kind of remedy or rectify whatever happens. But it's easier to fix a flatter, tighter look than a spill. Especially when I know that on Friday, if I only have about 200, 250 carbs, I know that I will not spill. I know based on all these deplete and load cycles that I've done and kind of see what happens tomorrow, I know that at 250, I am not going to spill, period. I just know it's not going to happen. So I know when I wake up on Saturday morning, I have a pretty good expectation of what I think I'm going to look like, right? I should look pretty dry, but I should look pretty flat. Well, that's not going to be a problem because I'm going to have all my junk food ready on Saturday, man. I'm going to have M&Ms, we're going to have jelly beans, we're going to have candy bars, we're going to have all this stuff, man. It's going to be awesome. And I don't want to get into too much of that because I actually have a separate project that I'm working on in this final week where I'm kind of documenting different things that I'm doing, and I'm going to put that together as a huge project after both shows are complete. So that's kind of the idea. Pushing the envelope on about 300 tomorrow. I'm going to see what I look like. Deplete Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Load up again Friday. And then Saturday, wake up and probably have a pretty moderate load going into the show. If I'm still flat, then I know I can shovel in the carbs. And I know I can load my sodium at the very end to bring the vascularity out, to bring the hard, full look that I need at the very, very end. And by the very end, I mean like literally like minutes before stage, like 20, 30 minutes, like that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much it from a nutritional standpoint in terms of what I'm doing. I am choosing my foods very carefully now with what I want to carb up with because I kind of know how my body responds to given foods in terms of not taking in too much fiber, but I want to take in some fiber so I'm not like, constipated and stuff like that, whispering as if like I have to whisper, I'm sitting in my car. But, I don't want to be bloated with a lot of fiber, but I can have some oatmeal, I can have some sweet potatoes to get some fiber in the system. Saturday, yeah, we talked about Saturday. We talked about nutrition. I mean, man, that's pretty much it. I'm moving through this thing pretty efficiently, so that's pretty cool. So 13 and a half minutes, that's not bad. So here's my tip for you guys. My tip for you guys is this. So on Friday, so this is pretty interesting. On Friday, what I'm going to do when I go to the gym, when I train, is I'm going to go in the morning, and I'm going to do a pretty light circuit. I'm not going to train my lower body just because I'm on a bodybuilding show, and typically when you break your lower body muscles down, they don't look very sharp. They don't look very lean. They don't look very vascular, right? And my legs are probably my strongest attribute. I have certain areas of my body that are stronger than others. My legs are kind of one of my standout features, and so I want to let those guys shine as brightly as they possibly can. So the last time I train legs next week is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be Monday. But I'm going to go and I'm going to do an upper body circuit. I'm going to cycle through chest, shoulders, biceps, triceps, and back, a few different rounds, doing really lightweight, 15 to 20 reps. And here's the reason why. So when you have a big meal or a big day, like a cheat day, like a treat day, like a carb load for a bodybuilding show, here's what's really interesting. when you go to the gym and you train, right, like you exercise, your muscles have glycogen, right? There's glycogen in your muscles. That's why it's so important that you eat before you train, because you want to fill your muscles up with the glycogen that they need to do the work that you're about to ask them to do. Well, as you train, you deplete those glycogen levels. Well, guess what happens when you refuel your system afterwards? Any carbs that you ingest, and I mean any carbs, Pop-Tarts, cereal, oatmeal, sweet potatoes, it doesn't matter. Any carbs that you ingest are going to go to filling those glycogen levels first. Before they go to store fat, before they start floating around your bloodstream and have a chance of spilling over into excess fat storage, your body is going to look to restore its glycogen levels first. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do on Friday, because, I'm not worried about fat gain at this point, but because it's not going to happen in, 24 hours and given the amount of food I'm taking in. But still, I want my muscles to be hard. I want my muscles to be full. Again, I don't want to spill, but if I could nail this thing, then I'll be hard and crisp, but I'll also be full and big, and my muscles will be, just rounded out and have that really full, hard, sizable look to them. Well, the way that I'm going to begin to accomplish that is on Friday morning, I'm going to do a light circuit, and I'm going to deplete my muscles of all of their glycogen, so that when I start to fuel back up for the rest of the day on Friday, it's going to top off my glycogen first and foremost. So for you guys, when you have a huge cheat day, when you have a huge cheat meal, and you know it's coming, oftentimes these things aren't unexpected. That morning, try to do it early in the day if you can. Go to the gym and get after it, man. Get after it and deplete those glycogen levels. But for you guys, there's actually a second thing that you should do. Make sure during that training session, you crank up the intensity super high. Because here's the other aspect of it. I'd be willing to bet many of you didn't quite know the glycogen thing. But I'd also be willing to bet a lot of you guys didn't know what I'm about to say next. I didn't know it up until, honestly, maybe 9 or 10 months ago. If you do a lot of significant muscle damage, so not only are you depleting glycogen, but you're damaging your muscle. So you really get after it. You really kind of tear apart those muscle fibers. You're really stretching that fascia. You're really, really digging into those muscles. Not only is your body going to take all the nutrients that you feed it and fill up your glycogen levels, but it's going to take those nutrients and it's going to repair all of your muscles first. It's going to go to repair all that damage that you did before it looks to store any fat. So if you have a cheat day coming up, then you need to get after it in the gym early in the day, because you're really going to be able to minimize and mitigate all the damage that you might do that day. All the food, all the excess calories that you're going to take in. And I'm telling you guys, man, I wish I knew this 10 years ago. Because for all the years I was in college, and I'd be willing to bet a lot of you guys do this too, when is cheat day? Cheat day is oftentimes on Sunday. What do we typically do on Sunday? We rest. We don't train on Sundays. Sunday's a rest day for me. I don't train on Sundays. I do now because of what I'm doing, but normally I rest. Well, man, if I would have known this, I probably could have saved myself so much fat gain over the years. And so if you guys have a treat day on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and you're not training, I would rethink your workout structure, rethink your weekly schedule. Try to get, even if it's just a hard interval session, and get something in that morning to really minimize and mitigate that damage by really getting after it with your intensity, number one. Number two, depleting that glycogen. Now for me this week, I'm not going to do a lot of muscle damage on Friday because I don't want to be sore on Saturday. Right? I want my muscles to really be fresh. I want to be alive. I don't want them to be fatigued and just drained. Man, I spent 4 months in a state of fatigue and weakness and feeling drained. Thankfully those things are over. And that's about it, man. That's all I got for you guys. As you can tell, man, I'm in super high spirits. And it's like I said in week number 1, or early on in the process. I said, because I've done this so much, one of the things I knew about myself and I knew about this process was I said, man, I just got to get to the final week. And I've got 2 shows back to back, which is interesting in and of itself. And I'll talk about that probably in next week's video. But when I recap how the first show went, I look forward to the second show. The interesting thing about this final week is I knew, just get to the final week, it's so different from everything else that my spirits are lifted. My spirits are super high. Like, yeah, I'm still tired, I'm still weak, I'm still drained, but I know I'm at the end. All the work is done. All the fat has been lost. I am at my goal. I'm at 168. Now, I'd like to eke out a little bit more fat this week, and I think I might from the deplete days. And the same thing next week. There's a good chance I get on stage at 167 or 160. Well, I won't get on stage at those levels because I'll carb up. But there's a good chance that my low point this upcoming week is 167 and some change, and then the following week is 166 and some change. But we'll see. You know, I still might be 168, and that's fine because the work has been done, man. Now, you just polish up whatever you got, and you just see, you know, what does that day have in store for you. So, man, that was a lot. I got through everything in my book. Training, nutrition, Friday, Saturday, a little bit tip for you guys. Went back to the first video. That's all she wrote, man. Now I get to eat. Oh my gosh, guys. I get to eat a tremendous amount of food. This lunch is gonna be awesome. And so I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys as always. If you've been following me from the beginning, man, thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun for me to do these videos. It's going to be kind of sad next week when the videos are over. Or I guess in 2 weeks. You know, it's going to be sad when the bodybuilding shows are over, obviously. But it's going to be sad not doing these videos. I'll have to find something else to kind of channel my energies into. And thankfully, I got a whole bunch of things in my head that will be coming out here in the coming months and possibly years, thinking kind of longer term. But that's it. All right, so I'm not going to dilly-dally. Man, if you guys could, like the video, share the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would be amazing. If you guys ever want to reach out to me, social media at jschultzf3. You can email me, jschultzf3@gmail. You know, I do coach people one-on-one. I've got some clients going now. My coaching business is off the ground. It got started in a way more, I'm hesitant to say explosive, but the interest was a lot greater than I thought it would be at the beginning. So that's just a true blessing from God, and I am so thankful for that. So if that's something that interests you, reach out to me. I do, at least as of right now, have a spot or two open, so let me know. But man, I will see you guys next time, and the next time I see you guys, I will have results from the first show. So keep me in your thoughts, keep me in your prayers, and that's it, man. God bless. See you guys next time.